European nations who have held off sending fighter jets and long-range missile systems to Ukraine have been providing other forms of support. 10,000 Ukrainian recruits have now gone through basic combat training in the UK since the war began. CNA was granted rare access to an army base in northern England. We've been asked not to reveal exactly where the training is taking place, nor identify any Ukrainian taking part. John Bevir reports.
Some 3,000 kilometres from the front line, new Ukrainian recruits are being taught the basics of urban warfare. The training might be taking place in England, but it's being conducted by a broad coalition of countries, including the British Army, the Swedish Armed Forces and Dutch Marines. Those involved in training the recruits are aware that preparing civilians for combat is no easy task.
It's difficult, but you see a beautiful learning curve. You see them at day one. They're a little bit afraid, and you see them growing till week 3, 4, 5.
And they're impressed with what they've seen.
So there is a mix of backgrounds here, and they're all doing a really, really good job. They are motivated in an extremely impressive way, which is driving them through this training program in a very good way, and they're far beyond what we could have expected when we started training them.
Trench warfare training has been added in at the request of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. It's now become part of the drawn-out conflict. Across Europe, Ukrainian troops are also being trained on specialised weaponry and heavy machinery. Tanks are now being provided by multiple Western powers. But agreement is not unanimous. Austria, for example, is unwilling to train Ukrainian recruits on Leopard 2 tanks. At the recent Munich Security Conference, NATO called for further support.
This war may end at the negotiating table, but we know that what happens around the negotiating table is totally dependent on the strength on the battlefield. So the only way to ensure a lasting, just peace in Ukraine is to give them military support today. So President Putin understands that he has to sit down and accept terms for negotiations, which ensures that Ukraine prevails as a sovereign independent nation.
But Ukraine is pushing for more, specifically fighter jets and the ability to control their own airspace. Softening rhetoric from some Western leaders suggests it's just a matter of when, not if, they are provided. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has said nothing is off the table.
Perfect, thank you. Thank you.
But that would mean more specialised training is needed, as NATO allies won't be offering the pilots. Still, those who might soon find themselves on the front line appreciate the support they've received so far.
Ми знаходимося тут вже 3 тижні. Підготовка проходить дуже швидко, з дуже великими навантаженнями і дуже професійними інструкторами, за що ми вдячні за це. Так, насправді це дуже високий рівень інструкторів, це відчувається по тим навантаженням, які вони запропонують нам. Але ж ми готові до цього, ми вмотивовані і насправді ми іменно для цього сюди приїхали, щоб отримати цей досвід і використовувати його в подалі при визволенні нашої держави.
As the debate over how much more support will be needed to achieve that liberation, trainers here say they'll remain focused on their mission. Away from the cameras, one soldier here told me that it's not up to them what level of support is given to Ukrainian recruits. They're just going to do the best job they can to get them ready for combat. The UK has offered to train another 20,000 new recruits by the end of the year. With fierce fighting and heavy casualties, all involved in this training know just how important it is. John Bevir, CNA, Northern England.